The term processed foods applies to any kind of food that has been altered from its natural state, either for convenience or for increasing its shelf life. Sometimes it's done also to reduce the post-harvest losses. We live in a world where processed foods are easier and cheaper to come by than the healthier whole food versions. Research has shown that nearly 60% of the food purchased is highly processed foods. Though some amount of processing is required to ensure the safety of perishable foods like dairy and meat products, highly processed foods are said to be bad for your health primarily because they slow down the metabolism and give rise to many health conditions. Ingredients such as salt, sugar, and fat are sometimes added to make the flavor more appealing or to help give it longevity that can lead to weight gain, diabetes, and high blood pressure. Are all the processed foods unhealthy? No, there are two ways that foods can be processed. First is mechanical processing and second is chemical processing. Mechanical processing, if only done on the foods with no added chemicals, then it is still the real food and can be beneficial and play an important role in meeting the demands of the balanced diet. For example, pasteurized milk, boiled vegetables, chopped vegetables, butter, which is extracted from the cream, or cow ghee, say, which is used from milk fats and delivered in the packaged form. Second kind of processing is chemical processing. The second type of processing is what we should be more concerned about. This is because chemically processed foods contain refined ingredients, flavoring agents, colors, sweeteners, and all of this might render it having no nutritional value or cause more harm than give benefits to us. Now, these artificial substances are added to the product to increase its taste, health, or the properties. Now, let's talk about what are the types of processed foods. To understand the processed foods better, the NOVA classification system is used to split foods into four broad categories. The first is unprocessed or minimally processed foods. These foods usually undergo mechanical processing. They are usually dried, crushed, filtered, ground, powdered, blanched, chilled, or heated. Now, we may use such products in our daily life, including milk, frozen vegetables, packaged curd, mushrooms, nuts, eggs, spices, herbs, raw cuts of meat, cleaned fish, etc. Now, these foods are minimally processed and are suitable for travel, transport purposes, or to increase the shelf life of the product. This food group forms the mainstay of a healthy, nutritious diet, and the major chunk of your grocery cart must contain the foods from this group. The second category of processed foods is processed culinary ingredients. Now, this group of foods contain ingredients that help you cook or often contain products that are not eaten all by themselves. Calorie-dense ingredients like oils or butter or ghee, sugar, non-caloric ingredients like salt are an integral part of this group. Processed seed oils may be harmful to consume because they might increase the triglycerides or the LDL levels. The third category of processed foods is just the processed foods. So when you combine the first two groups of foods, such as baked beans in brine or canned fish in brine, fruit pulp preserved in sugar syrup, all this creates the food with increased shelf lives. Checking the label of the food will help you know how the food has been packed. While some of these foods can be acceptable in your diet, it all comes down to the ingredients used in the products. When foods do not contain added sugar, salt, emulsifiers, additives, they are considered not excessively processed and are still healthier. However, the biggest risk of this group of foods is components like sugars that are hidden in different forms under different names. Let's talk about the fourth category of foods, which is ultra processed foods. Now, this group of processed foods are by far the most dangerous to your metabolic and overall health. These foods are easily found in all the stores, extremely cheap, and the various additives make them very addictive. Think of the things you tend to munch on or binge on. Products like energy bars, ice creams, energy drinks, biscuits, cereals, crackers, nuggets, all of this are included under this category. The manufacturers of these products create them by combining the natural foods with synthetically created ingredients like preservatives and chemicals. Let's discuss how are the processed foods manufactured. So first, the whole foods are broken down to create components like oils, proteins, fibers, sugar, etc. And then trans fat in these fruits are created by a chemical process. Next, these products face chemical modifications that break down them further. Synthetic additives, food derivatives, colors, flavors are then added to them, and voila, an ultra-processed food is ready. This manufacturing process clearly shows how the whole foods are modified and they lose their original nutrition and health. A host of studies and research conducted has associated ultra-processed foods with a very high percentage of obesity and metabolic syndrome. It's up to 40% increase in obesity and 79% increase in metabolic syndrome. So processed foods have a certain effect on our metabolism. It actually does no good to us and harms our health. They may cause alteration in the insulin sensitivity. They may increase the insulin resistance in the body, disrupt the liver function, cause increased oxidative stress in the body, which is the biggest reason for cancer, causing an imbalance in the gut microbiome, causing GI disturbances is another side effect of these processed foods. The trans fat added during the industrial manufacturing of these foods promotes inflammation in the body and increased the cellular stress. So if you have 3 or more of the following factors, then you might be eating a lot of processed foods. First is increased waistline. If your waist circumference is more than the recommended guidelines. The second is high triglyceride levels in the blood, or if you are taking medications to lower these levels. The third is a lower HDL level, which is the good cholesterol in the body. The fourth is high LDL, which is the bad cholesterol in our blood. High blood pressure is the next one. Next is high fasting blood glucose levels or requiring medications to bring down the high blood glucose under control. The next one is very common these days, and it is anxiety and depression. The other one is cancer. Let me now summarize it for you all. Avoiding the ultra-processed foods is a great way to tweak your existing lifestyle and make it a healthy one. Reading the food labels before buying the processed foods can guide you to eating healthy and minimally processed foods. It may be impossible to eliminate the processed foods from your diet altogether, but taking the step to minimize their consumption can make a world of a difference to your health. Taking a break from processed foods can bring your parameters on track and can help you reverse conditions like obesity, type 2 diabetes, high cholesterol, and hypertension.